Hey everybody, it's Dave coming to you from the Wyoming Fireside. It's Friday evening. It's about 7:15 here in Wyoming. Um, I got home almost on time compared to when I normally get home, so had a good time with a buddy of mine. Just went to the lounge for a couple hours and then jumped over to Snake River Brew Pub and had some chicken wings and a couple beers with a buddy of mine. So, but it was really weird. We met at 4:30 and we were done by 6, which is normally when I leave the lounge. So basically got home at the exact same time I normally do. So kind of freed up this evening to have another video. So, I love, I think the fireside chats are the favorite part of my channel. So I love doing them. I hate missing them. So it feels good to get back in front of you guys tonight. So getting to town today was a little rough. We have about a foot of new snow up here, and really down in town they don't have anything. So, but it was pretty much a whiteout getting to town. And if you know how to drive in the snow, and you know how to drive on ice, and you know how to drive in a whiteout condition, it's not that big a deal. But there's a lot of people here. It's pretty much tourists all year round, and we have a lot of people here in town who really should not have left their hotels or left town today. They should have slept in, had breakfast, gone shopping, had a nice dinner, but they chose to get out on the roads. And so I had three incidences on the way down to town. It's 33 miles. So the first one, I'm driving southbound and there's a car coming northbound, and we have these turnouts. And as I'm heading south, they're to my right, where you turn out and you park and you look at the mountains. And when I show you the Tetons as a full range, I've stopped in one of those turnouts. Well, this guy was coming up, coming north, directly opposed to me, and at full speed decided to turn into one of these turnouts. Well, he's doing 40 miles an hour, I don't know, and he's on a sheet of ice, so his car turns and then completely slides and just crushes the front of it into one of those big mounds of snow and ice that the giant snow plows make. And when I got up to him, all his wheels were spinning in reverse, and he's clearly high-centered himself up on this thing. And so I stopped, and I said, why don't you get your wife to sit behind the wheel, and you and I think we can work this thing so you can drive out of here. And he had really crushed up the front right, but we were able to get him off the ice block. And I said, hey, you might want to pick up your parts. We were able to pull things away from the wheel, and they were able to drive off. So I think the damage was fairly extensive, and it kind of shocked him. But just a junior rookie stupid move, driving too fast on the ice and then trying to take a turn at speed. I don't know what he was thinking. But anyway, we got him off, and then 2-3 miles further down, heading towards town, I saw a head-on accident right in front of me, about a mile in front of me. I just saw the parts explode, and they probably were both going about 40 miles an hour in a whiteout condition, and just hit head-on. And it was a minivan coming north, and one of those big transit vans heading south, and neither one fared very well. There were parts everywhere. All their airbags went off. The minivan coming north, the woman was driving, the man was sitting in the passenger seat. She was pinned in, partially because her airbags didn't deflate, but she was calm. Her husband got out. We talked. We got 911 on the way. The transit van guy was fine. He had a much larger vehicle. Both are going to be close to totaled, in my opinion. But when they hit head on, their vehicles turned and were both sideways to the highway with just enough space for one car to drive behind them. So it had begun to cause quite a traffic scene. But we got everyone happy, and so I got in my truck and I was going to drive away, and I drove in between them, but they had so much accident debris on the road it punctured my front right tire. Oh! And it was way too dangerous to stop on the side of the road in blizzard conditions, whiteout conditions. So I limped the truck along on a flat tire. It went from 37 pounds to 3 pounds, but I was able to drive. I just drove on the flat. I'm sure I wrecked the tire, but that's not the point. So I drove about 3 or 4 miles and got to a pull-out parking lot. Changed the tire on my brand new Expedition. Luckily, it's a full-size tire matches the other 4. It's on a Steely, but worked great. Got it jacked up, got the wheel off, got the spare on. It's underneath the, you got to kind of winch it down from inside the truck. You winch it down from the bottom, pull it out, winch the cable back up, put the wheel on, put the flat in the inside of in the back, and off we went. So it was quite a thing. And then when we were in whiteout conditions, I was following a guy pretty far back, but every time we got whiteout where you literally couldn't see, he drifted left. He kept drifting left into the other lane. I felt like yelling at him, like, dude, you got to drift right. But he got sideswiped. So, but there was not a pretty minor accident. No one got hurt, so I kept going. So we had a bunch of innocents just getting into town day. A bunch of people on the road who should have just stayed home and enjoyed the day in front of the fireplace. So it was a bit of an ordeal. Getting home was no big deal. 99% of the traffic was gone, and just a slow roll home, not a big deal. We did have some whiteout, but with most people off the road, it really wasn't as big a deal as during the day. So got home fine, lit the fire. Here we are talking. So you see me shifting, and I keep moving to my right, probably to your left, because the fire is actually pretty hot right now. That's why if I look like I'm uncomfortable, it's getting pretty hot. Hey, I promise you, I do wash this sweatshirt. I just have worn it every day for the last 3 or 4 days. So anyway, it's my night pajamas when I get home. This is a sweatshirt I put on. So that's why you've seen him probably in the last 3 or 4 fireside chats. It's just my go-to when I get home at night. So hey, I think our first subject tonight will be about me. I had a great question come in from you guys today. It came in through one of the comments on one of my videos the last 2 nights, and it was in reference to me saying that your company's a jealous mistress, and she doesn't want you to spend time anywhere else, and that I took a lot of time away from my family, and my kids and I didn't spend a lot of time together their first 10 or 15 years together. And the question came back is, do I regret it? If I could go back in time, would I change decisions or make decisions differently or do things differently than I did this time around? So I thought that was an excellent question. And my answer may not sit well with people. I don't really know. But so with the clarity of hindsight, looking back 25 years, would I make decisions differently than I did this time through? Brilliant question. And I just want to be open and honest with you and tell you what my answer is and tell you my thought process behind my answer. So sitting here today, the world I know today, the family I have today, the relationships I have today, would I go back in time and relive it and change anything? And the answer is no. And I know that can sound kind of callous, so let me take the other side for a minute. Like, how can you say your kids didn't know you very well for the first 10 or 15 years of their life, and that you left the child rearing to your wife and the making of the home really completely to your wife, and yet you had the chance to go back and make those decisions again? How could you be so cold or callous or selfish or money oriented that you would go back and do it all over again in the same manner? I understand those questions. I understand that bent of thinking, and I just want to address why I feel like I wouldn't change anything going back. So the main reason I wouldn't is how well things have turned out today. The 4 of us as a nuclear family, my wife Anne Marie, my son Sean, my daughter Lauren, and myself, as a foursome, we fit together great. We have a great relationship in any combination of those, one-on-one, together as a threesome, together as a foursome. We get along great. We truly have a strong, great family. And my adopted daughter, who's not adopted, Natalie, same with when the 5 of us are together, it's freaking amazing. And Sean and I had to work at it. When I sold my company, we had 8 months to the day when he was going to leave for college, and he and I made a decision we're going to use those 8 months and form a relationship. And to this day, over 6 years later, it's worked. I see Sean 8 times a year, just driving back and forth to here. Not to mention if he comes home for the summer at all, not to mention his Thanksgiving trip home, not to mention his Christmas and New Year's trip home. So, I mean, there's 10, 11 times I spend meaningful time with my son. Laura and I were different. We never were separated. You know, she needed me less than Sean. So when I showed up at home full time, she was like, awesome, you know, let's go. And so, you know, we have great conversations. We talk about life. We talk about big career decisions. We talk about our college decisions. You know, we truly have a great relationship. You know, I believe my wife and I are stronger today than ever before. I love her more now than I have before. You know, we've worked hard to like each other. Once we became empty nesters 3.5 years ago, Sean left 6 years ago, almost 7. You know, it's worked out. The bottom line is it's worked out. The end, you know, does the end justify the means? I don't know if that's a bad sentence. In my case, the end has justified the means. You know, my wife told me on our first date, all she wanted to be was a mom. She wanted to make a home for her husband and her kids. She wanted to have kids, be a mom, and take care of the home. And she didn't want anything else. She had a job, not a career. And if I had any problem with that, there's the door. So she was the perfect woman to have a relationship with, and you know, provide me a solid foundation at home while I went off and slayed the dragon, as we say. You know, not only did I have my career and start my company, I ran for office and served 8 years basically as a county executive, and that took a lot of time out of my life. But there were some real benefits for all of them. By me serving as county executive, we solved some big issues with the education system. We came up with an education formula that is used to this day, 25 years later. You know, and the county was growing too fast. It was we were wrecking the county, the culture of Calvert County, and we fixed that. We fixed a lot of the traffic issues. We fixed the overcrowding issues. We fixed the school funding problems. And since then, those successes in those 8 years provided a solid education system in the public school system for my kids both to. They went K through 12 in the public school system, but it was stable and it provided them a great education because of what we were able to do back in that time frame, 98 to 2006. And both my kids were born while I was in office. Sean was born in 01, Lauren born in 03. And then the county has remained relatively stable since then because of some of the growth control and zoning things we're able to do. We preserved the county for about another 25 years. Now it is starting to slide off the ice shelf now, but you know, we're kind of at the end of our career. Both of my kids are pretty much not going to be in Calvert much longer. I'm here half time, and eventually I think Amory will come out here more. So, but those are great successes from the sacrifice of those years. The other one, the financial success of being gone for all that time is, you know, both my kids graduated from really prestigious 4-year institutions with great degrees with zero debt. You know, we were able to pay for their tuition, their housing, their books, the incidentals for both of them for 4 years, as opposed to saddling them with a degree and $200,000 in debt. So that's another success item. The other success is, you know, my wife never had to work. She could do what she chose to do. She could stay at home and be a mom to Sean and Lauren. She could make a great home. She could be a great wife. She could do and live the life she wanted to do because of that. And yes, there's a cost to that. And that's, the husband wasn't around much. The dad wasn't around much for years, you know, for 2 decades, basically. But I also tell you that during that time, it wasn't all bad. I still coached soccer, and t-ball, and little league, and gymnastics, and you know, Lauren still did tumbling. She did gymnastics. She did. Then we got into riding. We were able to get the horse farm rolling. You know, we went on vacations a couple times a year. We took the kids out of the United States once a year so they could see that there was something other than the U.S. And we found this place because we came here once a year for a decade. So it wasn't all bad. I mean, I can make it seem bad, and I try to when you think about you doing it, because it's a huge commitment for years and decades, but it's not all bad. So I think I'll roll all that up and say, for all those reasons, for me, I would not go back and make decisions differently because the end turned out so good. I wouldn't want to mess up what I have in life today. So I hope that makes sense from the heart. But I thought it was an awesome question, and I wanted to answer it here in front of you. All right, so the second part for tonight goes back to, I feel like it follows on. It's a completion of, or it's a part 2 of last night's video. It's about, you have this business and it's a jealous mistress, and then that means that your spouse has to be involved. He or she has to kind of agree to take on a different lifestyle if you're going to do this. And the I don't care if you're the man or the woman, but the other spouse has to take over the child rearing and all the running around and the school functions, and all that has to go to that person if you're going to do this. And if they don't agree to that, it's going to create an environment of almost total and guaranteed failure. And the reason is, the sentence I say is, you cannot fight a two-front war. Because when you start a business or start a career, you've already picked one theater of war, and that's out there. That's your market, your boss, your clients, your employees, your products, your services, your billing rates, your profitability. That will fight you all day long. And what you can't do is then go home and fight a second front war where home is just as big a battle. Why did you get home so late? Why do you have to work Saturdays? Why are you working 15-hour days? How come you pulled an all-nighter? Why is work so much more important to you than me or our kids or our home? If you have to fight that war at home and the war of building and running a business, if you're running both fronts, you'll never have a minute's peace. It will break your soul. It will break you as a human being, and it will completely eradicate any drive or belief in success or commitment to that you ever had. It will squeeze it out of you and kill it. You just cannot fight a two-front war. It's just not possible to be successful and do that. So either one of the wars will have to end. You'll have to give up your dream of owning it, or your marriage and your family will end, crumble, divorce, and go away on you. And now you just have the one front war. But that is not a decision of success, in my opinion. Anyway, so that's why I feel it's so important to talk about, the new business, the new company is this jealous mistress, because it's always in conflict with a home that's not ready to support it versus how much time you can give it. Because a new company, a new business will consume every hour you have, and should for years. This concept of a business is, you're going to buy it and it's going to run by itself, or you're going to build it up and then turn the crank and let it go, like the Energizer battery bunny. Just false, not going to happen. So anyway, I just thought that fit in well to the conversation about me and my time and last night's conversation. I thought it was a good follow on. All right, guys, I think that's enough. I'm going to end it here. I like being able to open up and tell you why I did things, what I believe in, why I did it, what I changed it. I enjoy that question, so thank you for that. That was enjoyable to answer it and be honest and tell you why I wouldn't go back and make a decision, because it could sound like such a terrible thing to say. So thank you for that. Guys, that's it. So it's Friday night. I hope you had a great week. I hope you're having a good Friday night. I hope you got a great weekend in front of you, and I hope you got a good week planned out in front of you for next week. And that's it. So we'll say, may God bless you. May He bless the lives around you. May God turn His ear to hear your prayer. That means you're praying to Him earnestly, seriously. May God make His face shine upon you. And may He bless your life as well as He has and continues to bless mine. And that's it, guys. We'll talk to you again tomorrow on Saturday. Good night, everybody.